welcome back to Let's Play The Evil Within with me, Jimenez. And today we're going to be playing some of the DLC, the first of 3. This one is the assignment, and it's going to be the story of basically what Kidman was up to during the main campaign. And I think it's pretty sweet. It fleshes out a lot of the story and fills you in a lot of what's going on with Kidman. So why don't we get right into it? We're gonna go ahead and begin a new game. They existed together, but each saw things in their own way. It was as if each patient's consciousness filled in the blanks, creating their own reality. And these are test notes from Trial 716AX from Dr. Marcelo Jimenez.
Do you stand with Mobius?
I do. I made my choice.
And this is Chapter 1, An Oath.
The crash. I wasn't alone. Where is everybody?
And now, those notes from Dr. Jimenez are kind of important because it explains to you that basically what everyone experiences is unique to them. So what Kidman sees happening is not necessarily what Sebastian and Joseph saw happening.
Sorry, detectives. Gives it creeps up.
Shit. I've got to get out of here.
Oh man, that high heel through the jaw is so amazing. But first, let's find this document. This is going to be a KCPD criminal record, and juvenile offenses, lots of those, and then criminal trespass, destruction of property, grand theft, receipt of stolen goods, vagrancy, underage consumption of alcohol, shoplifting, resisting arrest, burglary, it goes on and on. Selling drugs, robbery with firearm, assault, grand theft, criminal evasion, resisting arrest, and assault on an officer. Now, it's not immediately apparent, but that is actually Kidman's criminal record.
There's no going back.
You're back up.
settle down, Leslie.
Leslie.
Leslie. Leslie Withers.
I'm sorry?
Kid, I need you focused. I need your attention. This is a serious matter. Everything we do is a serious matter.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'd like to think so, but conviction must be proven with action. As I was saying, your target is Leslie Withers. He's a patient at Beacon Mental Hospital. But he's something more. Simply put, we need him to run our STEM system. Without this asset, our research will mean nothing.
I don't understand. We own Beacon. Why not just take him?
Our relationship with his advisor, Marcelo Jimenez, has become rather strained. The boy is a leverage piece. Jimenez plans to activate a STEM prototype at Beacon without our permission. Obviously, that's unsuitable. Have no illusions. It will be dangerous. Come, take a walk. The nurses are waiting.
Hey there. Where did you come from?
And so the cat is going to be how we save our game, this nice little kitty right here. But what I want to talk about really quickly is what our faceless boss just said about Jimenez. Obviously, we're getting a little more context about what Kidman's mission is, but what happens at the beginning of the game is that we're all in the car together and we hear that piercing noise. I believe what he says there is supposed to explain what that was, which was Jimenez activating a STEM prototype, which is how we all end up inside of STEM at the beginning of the game, more or less. It doesn't make a ton of sense, but that is the explanation, as far as I'm aware. And I want to point out that this is a very normal looking environment, but everyone's voice and faces are all blurred out. So it seems that what we are going through right now are Kidman's memories of this place, with some of it almost censored in a way.
If Jimenez activates the system, you'll be pulled in. Hopefully he doesn't. But as a precaution, we've prepared an infusion to prevent contamination.
Like a vaccine? To protect me?
More accurately, to hide you. We develop STEM, but there is a ghost in the system. Something we call Ruvik. It means to keep us out. This infusion should protect you to some extent.
And so this infusion sort of explains why Kidman is less affected by the things going on in STEM as compared to Sebastian and Joseph.
Why send me alone?
You won't be alone. You'll be with your team from KPD. You'll get a call on the radio reporting an incident at Beacon. Everything will be arranged. But their consequences of little value. In regards to your mission, they're expendable. Come, sit down. We must have that boy. He will enable us to change everything.
I'll come back with him.
I needn't remind you the consequences for failure. Loyalty is a sensitive subject for us. Trust is such a valued commodity in today's world. So once again, I ask you, do you stand with Mobius?
I do. I made my choice.
Now you must back up your words with actions. Do not waver. Now I'm going to count down. And when I'm finished, I'll ask you a series of questions. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'd like to ask you some questions. Have you ever felt abandoned by the ones you trusted?
Hey! Anyone?
So that creature that just ran away is called Shade, and we will be experiencing more of that a little bit later. For right now, I'm going to want to run around this way. And this is our flashlight.
What's going on? Where did everyone go?
And it's worth noting that we don't have any weapons. The only thing we have is this flashlight. And this is going to be a very different kind of game from the main campaign. It's going to be purely stealth. But if you're feeling like we have a pretty cool ambiance going on here, it's pretty dark, all we have is a flashlight to defend ourselves, it's very unsettling, we're going to break the mood pretty badly right now. So, during our playthrough, we're going to want to find these snails. Snails, of course, are the logo for Tango Gameworks, the people who made this game. And when we find these snails, we can shine our flashlight on them to reveal a pickup that will give us a collectible, but the sound effect for doing so is absolutely ridiculous. So let's check that out. I kind of can't believe they did that. But anyway, let's pick it up. And this is going to be a new model. We can view these in the model viewer, and I want to pick up all of the models. There's going to be these, soundtrack elements, and then, of course, your ordinary pickups, things like personal documents, stuff like that. We're going to find them all because this is not very long, so I do want to be really thorough and pick up all of the possible collectibles. And for certain sections, I'm going to be a little bit quieter just to let the mood of this DLC breathe. It's so fantastic.
Hey!
Not the light! Not the light!
Hold on, I'm gonna find a way in there.
And if we check this door, we can't get directly in.
Locked from the inside. Maybe there's another way in.
So right behind us is going to be this vent, and that's our introduction to this sort of vent mechanic.
Please. No. No!
And if we're quick, we can see the guy who we were trying to rescue get killed, and just a little bit of a sneak peek
Oh, shit. What could have done this?
at Shade. But now that that's over, Shade will have helpfully opened this door for us. And right here on the ground, we can find our first sort of audio tape for this chapter. And it's going to auto-read it for us, so why don't we give that a listen?
I'm afraid that the fragile mental states of the subjects are limiting our studies. Mobius wants us to move past beacon patients and onto more stable people. They want to get STEM closer to its intended use. Would they see the world in the same way? Would a sane mind weather the psychically draining experience? I had that dream again. I entered the STEM myself.
And so that's going to give us a little bit more context on Dr. Jimenez. Now, because this playthrough is completely stealth, we have the introduction of some actual stealth mechanics, which is pretty exciting, because if it was just the main game stealth mechanics, we would be in a lot of trouble, because there basically aren't any. So we can enter cover, we can move in cover, and we can peek around the corners. Hide around corners and below low obstacles. You can move along walls, peek around corners, and call out to enemies. So even without having bottles in hand, we can do things like this, where we enter cover, and then we can press X while in cover to call out enemies to lure them my direction. Now, the enemies in this are kind of dumb. It's not a particularly hard sort of stealth playthrough. But I do find the mechanics a little bit difficult to use. But we're going to get a look at that right now as we kind of creep over here. Now, they can't see you even when you're peeking out. But let's see if we can get a look at this guy. He is right, she, I should say, is right in my way. So what I'm going to want to do is come over here and call out.
Over here!
And as soon as I do that, she's going to come to where I was. We should have just enough time to get this door open and get away from her. And then there's the health recovery aspect. So your health in this doesn't really matter. You don't use healing items or anything. You just get all your health back if you just stand still. Because it's supposed to be a stealth playthrough. Now, right over here, we're going to have our first little puzzle. These are going to give us pieces of a torn letter. The solution to this puzzle is you start with the bloodiest one and then go on down. And that's going to give us our first letter scrap. Now, if we move over here, we can push this out of the way. But I think that right there, having to call that enemy to distract it and then mash A to open this door, this whole thing is very well designed to give you very tense moments like that, where you have just barely enough time to get to the exit and progress. Now, bottles are actually fairly useful in this. But you see here, even if I'm peeking right out and he looks right at me, they can't spot you. But having the sort of beep button prompt to put you into cover is actually very nice. And it's reminding me that I can call the enemies, but I already know that. And so we could go about this by calling him over here, or we could just chuck a bottle right over here. And see if that works. I feel like he heard it, but he might not have. So, we'll have to figure something else out. Bottles are still as unreliable as a lot of other things in the main game. All right, let's go ahead and call him over here.
Hey!
Don't think he heard that either. Okay. I guess I'm gonna wait for him to get a little bit closer, and then we'll try again.
Come here.
Come on, buddy.
Over here.
There we go. And you'll get that prompt with the heartbeat sound if you're successful. And now I should be able to just sneak right past this guy. But because you can't just go around killing everything, it does definitely make for lots more tense moments. I think this DLC is just fantastic. Not only for giving you more plot, although I do have some amount of frustration for the fact that a lot of the plot of this game, really helping you understand the plot, is kind of locked behind DLC, which is not the best thing in the world, but for making a very unique feeling experience that at the same time gives you more story is pretty fantastic. I think it's really well done. So we can't get through there, and we will want to eventually. Alright, so I'm gonna want to open up this door. And when I do that, I can use the phone in here to call the phone in the next room. And that's gonna mean the monster guarding the hallway is gonna run in there. And then I can just lock the door. And she's stuck in there forever. You will have a few chances to do things like that to get enemies out of your way. And I really like it. It's like placing a prank call or something. So we can't get in there, so we're gonna have to use this vent again. And I think a lot of this level design is really awesome, where when you get done, you're like, wow, this place isn't even that big, but I've had to take so many roundabout ways to get through things. It's all very disorienting, but it's just fantastic. Okay, so I'm gonna wanna grab this. This is gonna be the office keycard that will open that door we saw earlier. This keycard belonged to one of the Mobius staff. It appears to have the blood of its previous owner on it. And now, we're gonna get attacked by that guy, so we're gonna wanna hide in here. It's really our only option. And he seems to know we're in here, but...
You. 'Cause 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 'cause
Shade is gonna pop in and kind of save us.
Leslie.
And now that that's over, we have our keycard in hand, and we can just kind of get out of here. Shade is gonna go run around elsewhere for now. And now we are in yet another insanely dark hallway. And we come to this room. Now we're going to try our handprint.
Agent status terminated. Authorization invalid.
What? Terminated? Maybe I can force it open with the computer.
That would be that computer over there, so let's give it a try.
Analyzing data.
And all the power has gone out. And Shade is going to come in here and start searching for us. And there's a nice good look at Shade.
That thing used its light.
So we can use left trigger to focus the flashlight, and that's going to be a mechanic that opens up hidden passageways. The only problem with it is a little bit twitchy, and it likes to just work whenever it wants to, but let's keep going. And here is that cage that Kidman was in the action sequence where it was filling with water. Let's check it out and see what was happening for Kidman during that.
Come on!
So, interestingly, it seems like Kidman was not actually inside that.
If the system is activated, you'll hear a high-pitched noise. From then, we can't do anything to help.
What's gonna happen to me?
All I can say is that it will be unsettling, but Leslie will be in there with you. You'll need to find him.
This is from before. Leslie, is he really here?
And so that high-pitched noise is just once again referencing the high-pitched noise that we heard right in the beginning of the game, signifying that we ended up in STEM.
Leslie is here. Okay, I gotta get to him before anything else does.
Yep, and Leslie somehow is still wandering around, never touched by monsters. Amazing how he does that. And there's our kitty friend. I will probably have to say the word kitty every time I see the kitty, so you're just going to have to forgive me for that. But I don't think it's something that I can control. And now as we continue on, we're going to find our first soundtrack. That's these gold record pickups with the Tango Games logo on them. And we can go ahead and listen to those whenever we want, which is fun. And now, if we swing around over here... we can find another safe that's going to have another letter scrap in it. And the solution to this one, it's going to have 3 different dials that are different colors. If we focus the flashlight on these posters, we will find the corresponding color and number. So that will give us the combination. So yellow is 16, red is 6, and blue is 17. So let's go ahead and put it in. Red is going to be 6. Blue is 16. And yellow is 17. And this is randomized, so you do have to find it every time. Right? Yellow is 16. Oops. Red was 6, and blue was 17. There we go. And there's our second letter scrap. And we'll be able to figure out what that means once we put it all together, but that won't be for a little while. Now let's get out of here. And if we come down these steps and immediately make a U-turn, we'll be able to find a passage underneath. And the whole reason this exists is to find this snail here. So let's give a listen to that super appropriate sound effects it makes again. Yep. But we do get the cat model, which is very exciting. No reason not to spend your time looking at assets of cats. And if we interact with this machine, we can get some extra bottles, but we won't really need them. But I'll take one with me anyway. And one really nice thing about this is that you can actually open doors while crouched, which is definitely something that should have been in the main game. So the one all the way back is going to patrol the door the whole time, and he is in a very inconvenient location. But if we sneak in here, we can find a cell phone. And it gives us a little clue. If I were to call this cell phone, how she knows the number just by looking at the cell phone, I don't know. But that's exactly what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna try not to get spotted by this guy. I gotta kind of wait for him to patrol away. And he shouldn't be able to see me from right here, even if I'm kind of hanging out. Alright, should be good. And the phone is going to be kind of right in front of me, so I gotta wait for him to turn around. But it's kind of difficult to not get spotted by the guy in blue. And he's going to run in there, and we'll be able to lock him inside, same as before. Yeah, this guy in blue is really good at spotting you. But in order to get around him, we're going to circle all the way around the outside. But he loves to just patrol right there and just keep facing the entrance. So the first thing we're going to want to do is come over here. That's going to give us the key card, the research room key card. This key card allows access to yet another part of the facility. Yet another part indeed. And we'll wait for him to get about as far away as he can.
Over here.
And then as he's checking over there, we can go ahead and use our key card, but this is going to be close. Yep. But we can safely hop in this vent, and Haunted are not good at crouching, so he won't be able to follow. But that's what I mean about being very good at creating these tense moments where you really do have to run for it. Another thing I haven't really mentioned, but Kidman's sprint is literally like 3 seconds. That's as much as you get, and her stamina recovers really slowly.
Don't you ever forget. You're one of us now.
And now right here, we're going to have a little bit of a puzzle with the light. We can see that this is creating the shadow of this right over here, but it's missing a part. It's actually really helpful. My flashlight shows the whole thing. Yeah, like that. So we need to create that image, and we're going to do that by focusing the flashlight and kind of maneuvering it here, but this one is also really touchy. There we go. And with that, we can progress.
The air feels so heavy in here.
And so that radio static and sort of the shimmering visual there is another clue that we want to use our flashlight. And we're going to hear another audio tape here, so let's give it a listen.
After months of secrets, subterfuge, and indoctrination, they brought me into their fold. This place is elaborate, to say the least. Despite the modernistic visage, the research they have been doing here seems to date back to over a century ago. This place has history, and from what I can grasp, this facility is only one branch of many. Institutions, powerful families, their reach seems grand, and therefore the possibilities for me seem equally as rich. Clearly, my own unique methods at Beacon have piqued their interest, and I am most grateful for the opportunity. Most of what the researchers have been working on, however, seems archaic by today's standards. They told me budget is of no concern. Results are the only thing that matter. Juggling duties here and at the hospital seems manageable, but Reuben, comparatively insignificant, but even at his young age, his studies are remarkable. Perhaps one day he will even assist me with my work here.
Something tells me he is going to end up assisting him with his work here.
This is not a negotiation, Dr. Jimenez. We're expected to reach a solution, hence the founding of this facility.
I understand that, and I appreciate the time you've given me.
Time has a limit, and we're approaching that point. If you've outspent your usefulness, we will need to find someone more suitable.
Let's not be so hasty. I've done tests with our visual diagnosis, and there is something I must speak to you about. Please, come with me. The projector is in the next room.
And we are going to go ahead and follow him into that next room and check out what's on the projector, but that's going to have to wait until next time because I'm all out of time for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.